Hi, everyone. My name is Sam Taylor, a reporter with the Lewiston Tribune and Moscow Pullman Daily News, and welcome back to another episode of The Final Whistle. Here with me is a colleague you haven't met in this edition of the Final Whistle yet, but it's Cody Wendt, our sports reporter, our veteran sports reporter. So, Cody, how's it going?
Oh, somehow or other. You know, I'm not sure I've been on any edition of The Final Whistle. I remember a podcast called Between the Lines. Then there was one that was Tribune Sports After Dark. I personally liked Between the Lines. I felt like there was something to that. For The Final Whistle, not bad either, especially since we're recording this, after deadline, late at night in the office. So it kind of has a significance to the reporters themselves, I suppose.
Indeed. Yeah. And so this may look a little different than episodes you've seen in the past because we are in the brand new Lewiston Tribune studio. It is in progress. So we'll have a table soon and other amenities, which would be quite nice. But in the meantime, be sure to subscribe here, like and subscribe here on YouTube, listen on Spotify or Apple or wherever you find your podcasts, and keep up with The Final Whistle week in and week out. So without further ado, we're going to talk about the Seaport River Run, which our own Cody was a participant in. We'll talk about the state of local tennis, particularly Pullman Tennis. Cody's also the head coach of Pullman Boys Tennis, Greyhound Boys Tennis. That'll be our episode. It'll be a pretty special one where we're excited to get started. So without further ado, let's talk about the Seaport River Run. An ex-Lewis Clark State Warrior finished first in the 10 kilometers, Connor Turpin of Lewiston with 31 minutes and 56 seconds. And then our own Cody Wendt of Moscow was third with 41 minutes and 43 seconds. Now, Cody, tell us a little bit about your experience. I understand you weren't entirely pleased.
I was very embarrassed by my time there. I was something like 3 minutes faster than that last time I ran the 10K at the Seaport River Run. I definitely think I should be well under 40 minutes, and I was kind of shocked when I got to the finish line and saw I was running 41:40 or whatever that was. There was a little mishap actually at the start where they had a youthful volunteer, I assume, out there to do the starting gun on us, with the customary pop that alerts everyone the race is underway, and he just was fighting and fighting. He was pulling the trigger, and the thing would not go off, and finally the Tribune's own Nathan Alford, our publisher, himself came out to try to, fix what was wrong, and he also had no luck, and we were waiting for some time for that starting gun to go off until another volunteer just finally counted down 3, 2, 1, start, and so. That was a little different, but these things happen. Overall, a lovely event. Our own Butch Alford was fated at the beginning, the emeritus publisher and beloved grandfatherly figure of the Tribune, competitively speaking, the field was not the strongest it's been. Again, my time, I was the third finisher in the 10K, but some years I think that time would have gotten me 10th or something. But Connor Turpin of LC, being there obviously is a highlight. The guy ran an incredible sub 32 minute 10K like you might expect from him. Also, we could talk about the shorter course, the 2.9 mile course, where it was Will Marquardt, something that is pronounced to that effect, of Pomeroy, who is himself a University of San Francisco running alum. He won that course in a solid time of 16:19. It's funny, I did the write-up on the Seaport River Run that night. It's one of the, sort of unique things about, my own role here, I think, is I am sometimes participating in these sporting events, either as an athlete or as a coach, and then coming to the Tribune and being assigned to, fill out the little, and I don't give myself special treatment. I don't mention myself at all in the write-up here on the Seaport River Run, though, as again, I was embarrassed by my own showing, and, really maybe I gave myself special treatment by ignoring myself. It's one of the, many good things I think that the Tribune participates in around the valley. They also sponsor the Regional Spelling Bee, of which I was a 2-time champion back in the day. I actually first met old Butch Alford when I won that, and he congratulated me, and I, even then I looked at him as this just endlessly reassuring grandfatherly figure who, was just the sort of person you would imagine was there behind the scenes at the top of society's hallowed institutions. Yeah, that's another good community engagement of the Tribune is sponsoring the Seaport River Run.
Now we'll transition to your other role as a Greyhound boys tennis coach. What should someone, say me actually, with very little knowledge of the local tennis scene, know about just what the Quad Cities tennis scene is?
We have won 4 consecutive undefeated seasons in those team duels, which are head-to-heads, where 4 of your singles players face the top 4 singles players selected by the other school, and 3 doubles teams from each school face off to make a total of 7 points. Anyway, we've been undefeated the whole decade. We are 9-0 so far this season in league. I will say, a couple years ago, it was kind of a foregone conclusion that Pullman was going to win every team duel. Like, we actually had a 2023 season in which we were 70-0 in the individual matches, meaning we had 10 of these 7-match team duels, and we swept every one of them. Whereas right now it's more competitive than that. Some of these other teams have gotten strong. Right now, both West Valley and Clarkston are strong teams that can, push Pullman, can compete with Pullman. We're actually playing Clarkston tomorrow, and that should be a good one. We beat Clarkston 6-1 earlier this season. That was a good day for the Hounds. But Pullman, we have Reed Newell, who's currently playing our number 1 spot. He's a senior captain. He's worked extremely hard, has upped his game immensely. He is a very complete player this year. His serve is a bomb. He used to struggle with his forehand. He had kind of the wrong grip going that was making it difficult for him to play low balls and what have you. And he adjusted his grips. He kind of rebuilt his game to some extent over the offseason. He's come back better than ever. He beat Connor Kuntz of West Valley, who was the only guy Pullman wasn't beating last year among individuals. Recently, Reed has actually been undefeated in all of our team duel play this season. We're hoping for big things from him, obviously, as we continue to the end of the regular season and into the postseason. Our number 2 guy on our ladder is Nathan Sutton, who is a sophomore. Nathan, a guy who took up tennis less than 2 years ago. He showed up to our summer practices, and I gave him his first introduction to tennis. And he and Reed have been very closely matched. They've challenged each other twice and split challenges. They're going to have another one before long. So Nathan Sutton, the epitome of an athlete. He's he's speedy. He's tenacious. He's consistent. Reed has the power game. Nathan has the Reed's more of an offensive player. Nathan's more of a defensive player. They're a little bit of yin and yang on the court. Nathan, again, as only a sophomore, has tremendous promise. He already beat a lot of the best guys in the league this season, and we're expecting more of that from him. We also have Mir Park, who's a former state qualifier in doubles. He's a co-captain with Reed and is, another very complete player and really kind of our top doubles specialist who will be looking to hopefully capture a doubles title heading here into the off season. Or the postseason, rather. In girls tennis, the Hounds have Rhoda Wang, who I've also written a feature story about before. She is a former 2-time girls state singles champion. She's back for her senior year after she actually didn't play high school tennis as a junior. Rhoda, I think, would be a solid favorite if there were betting odds to claim a 3rd state title this season in girls singles. She also helped the Pullman girls claim a team state title 2 years ago, which was, with the help of multiple teammates. It's much like track or what have you, where they add up your scores per event, and so winning individual titles helps with team scoring. And so, but Rhoda definitely has I think, a very strong chance at winning state again. And we also have Diana Gutierrez, who was a 5th-place state medalist last year for girls, Greyhound girls. So I would think Rhoda has a good shot at going again and medaling again. And if they both do, then the Greyhound girls should be up there, in the team's state scoring. The Greyhound girls and boys tennis teams both have had tremendous traditions of success in recent years, and obviously we hope to carry that on. And again, they're a good group. I mean, the boys tennis team has also been academic state champion 2 of the last 3 years. So again, we've really had a great culture at Hound Tennis. This also could be attributed in part to the girls coach, Dan Vollmer. He's kind of this venerable older figure who is he played for Eastern Washington and really, I'll say this also, you know, uh, he has definitely helped to some extent to lay the great groundwork for the success of the boys team as well. Like he does summer clinics at WSU, and some of my guys I know, learned under Dan there before they come and join the boys team. I'll add that over here in the 2A Greater Spokane League, again, the field has gotten stronger, at least on the boys' side, the last couple of years. As I say, Pullman was absurdly dominant a couple of years ago, and we were also one of the top teams in team state scoring. Like I said, the girls actually got a team state title with the help of Rhoda winning the individual girls singles title. It's a good tennis community. I think, really Moscow, Pullman, Lewiston, and Clarkston, all have solid programs. I think, I would like to say the Hounds are the best, but that's I am biased.
To wrap up, I guess, when you look at all these sports that the Tribune covers, obviously football heavy in the fall, basketball in the winter, baseball and softball a lot in the spring, but tennis is one of those sports that often gets maybe just swept aside, or it rarely leads the roundup. Obviously, you advocate for it too, and sometimes it does, and it's fantastic. But I guess what have you experienced as like the value of tennis, and why should people care about it as fans, and maybe participate in it recreationally, and just I guess how do you see tennis benefit your student athletes?
Well, in fact, I actually published an article about this last summer. Not in the Tribune, but in American Thinker, which is about the, I stated the case on a number of fronts. Tennis, in fact, has a healthy culture. Tennis is a sport in which there is a code of conduct you're expected to adhere to under pain of actual code violation penalties. That includes things like that you don't disrupt your opponent while they're preparing to serve. You don't cheer for unforced errors. There's a high expectation. They say that tennis is a gentleman's game, and I think we try to adhere to that at Pullman. Not always with perfect success, but I think we've done a decent job. I think that tennis. It promotes a lot of the values of conduct that people should look to adopt and to perpetuate. Also, tennis has been shown to be a sport with tremendous health benefits. In fact, another thing I cited in my article is that tennis, according to the Copenhagen City Heart Study, which followed tennis players and among other various people who did different sports or were sedentary, it followed people over a span of decades. And it found a strong correlation between tennis participation and health. In fact, to the point at which tennis players, on an average, people who kept up a tennis hobby, lived close to 10 years longer than people with an otherwise comparable lifestyle who did not play tennis. And it was actually, by that measure, and according to this large study, more beneficial to health than any other sport that they followed. That's actually why at the U.S. Open this past a few months ago, they even had emblazoned on the court the world's healthiest sport on the, sort of touting that. And I think tennis is at a good nexus where it is it's athletic enough. That's to say, there is a good amount of physical exertion in a quality tennis match. Certainly that it will elevate your heart rate. It engages a whole host of different muscles and muscle groups, and it operates on multiple levels. Again, there's some sports are relatively one-dimensional in that, let's say if you're, a power lifter or, a cyclist, or I don't mean to disparage those sports, but they have fewer dimensions than tennis, where there are a variety of different strokes, there are different strategies, there's baseline play, there's net play, there's singles, there's doubles, and there are almost an endless number of variations tactically. And it really, I think it engages you physically and mentally, and is a very holistic sport. And it also does that with relatively little risk of injury. You don't get a lot of brain damage in tennis like you might, unfortunately, incur in a sport like football. So really, I think tennis has almost everything going for it and relatively little going against it.
Fantastic. Well, you can stay tuned to all of our local tennis coverage and our area roundups every week, and other coverage. I guess, Cody, is there anything you'd like to say to wrap up and just to encourage folks to keep tuned with tennis and all our other coverage here at the Lewiston Tribune?
About one of my classic verses, as indeed I often conclude my press releases in verse, though they sadly are rarely published. Let's see. All across our conference, the word once more resounds. Take heed, our champions cometh hence. Beware the Pullman Hounds.
All righty. Thank you very much, Cody. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for joining us on this episode of The Final Whistle. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and listen anywhere you get your podcast, including online at lmtribune.com. So for Cody Wendt, I'm Sam Taylor. Have a great night.